Hello, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton. Now, this has just recently happened to a customer stroke person that we are affiliated with, and there is a little bit of embarrassment about when this does happen. However, to put people's minds at rest, it's not unusual. We hear of it about 2 or 3 times a year, and we also know that certain people within Andover Norton have done it themselves, not just once, twice. Now, it relates to the bosses that are pressed into the tank here and here. I've had these come out. Where they press them in, there's like a sharp ring that weakens the material, so it doesn't take much to actually pull the boss out the bottom. It's a bit embarrassing when you just got your bike out to go for an MOT and all you can smell is fuel in the garage. Now, I had mine welded in. Now, they did weld it back in at a place local to us in Hampshire, and they put some putty or some stuff around which managed to save the tank. I'm not sure what they used, whether it was like a heat stock putty or they actually semi-submerged the tank in water and then done it. But they're very good at what they do at the place local to us. If anyone in the UK needs their details, I can certainly pass them on to them. Now, the stud goes on here on both sides, and obviously this is used at front to go onto the wings. This is one that we use to make frames with. I don't want to bring a whole frame in to show you. Now, the trick with this and the requirement is, in the UK, your fuel tank must be attached to the bike. So come the unfortunate time you're riding on the sky, your tank's not going to fall off. It does happen. Bikes will flip when they hit a bit of the curb or a bit of traffic island. Generally the rider would go one way and the bike would flip the other, but the tank must stay with the bike. In the UK, if you get pulled over with an unsecured tank, you will be in trouble. It is actually an offence. Now, when you put a tank on, realistically, it's just got to stay with the bike. It doesn't need to be bolted to within an inch of its life onto the frame. The weight of the fuel when the bike's upright will keep it in place. All you need to do is just to have enough restraint on the tank that if the bike does tipple upside down in the event of an accident, the tank's not going to part company with the actual bike. Now, after I've stripped the bosses out twice, what I do is I fit me rubbers. This is not a set number of rubbers, it's just what I put on there. It could be 4, could be 5, could be 6. I don't use a rubber underneath the wing on the frame like some people do. If you want to use a rubber underneath, feel free, but I just normally use the washer and the nut. I then do this nut up on a bolt to make sure the thread lock is not going to be too tight and risk pulling the boss out the bottom of a tank where it's been previously weakened. And I have also used a little bit of grease in the past. It's just enough to make sure the nylock is smooth enough to go on, but it's not going to come undone. Now, as I do this up, the trick is with the tank sat on this is in the tank, what I do is I flick this washer with my finger as I do the nut up. When that washer stops rotating, that nut for me is done up enough. Now, what will normally happen is you'll go to the garage, especially with an interstate, and fill it with 5 gallons of fuel. That's like a jerry can of weight sat in the tank now. So what will normally happen is that this will compress a little bit, that washer will come loose and you'll hear it ride along. What you can do is just gently do the same again, flick that round, do the nut up. Once you've done that with a full tank of fuel, then you know that these are going to be tight. Same in the rear position. There's a strap that goes across here. You don't need to do it up until you're actually pulling the actual bosses out the back of the tank. Realistically, just do it up so it's tight and rattle free and it's not going to come undone. You don't need to be trying to distort the tank with the amount of torque you put it on the nuts. Now, if it does happen, these tanks can be repaired. The boss can be put back in. Strangely, it comes out in a real neat fashion. Like you say, you can get it done. Some people are worried it will damage the tank. Even mine's got a little bit of the heat transfer here, but really considering the rest of the bike and the condition that's in, I'm not really bothered. It still holds fuel and it's watertight. That is how you fit your tank to the frame. You don't need to go mad, you just need it on there, so in the event of something unfortunate happen, then it's not going to disappear off down the road one way, you another, and the bike in another direction. Now, some of you are most probably worrying about this tank here that I've just got on here. I wouldn't worry so much. This tank is beautiful on the outside. Trust me, the reason why that filler cap is shut, because if I open it, I end up with rust everywhere. Yeah, it's in a real bad way inside this tank. It's one we keep as a sample that we use for various things. Now, if you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch with myself or Simon at Andover Norton, where we'll try and help you out. Thank you very much.